you can come and see me at Second City at their theater in Williamsburg. Just go to their website to purchase tickets. They're like $10. It's actually a terrific venue. Anyway, today we're going to show a little bit of the stand-up that I've been doing, including a contest, the Ladies' Room Festival, and then I'm going to be interviewing Nancy Levine, who is the producer and also a comedian of that particular festival. So hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Alix Elias.
Hi, I'm Alix. I'm an actress. I'm a little plump. Describing my figure, I wouldn't call myself an apple or a pear. I'd say, think more like a soft-boiled egg with breasts.
Today we're interviewing Nancy Levine, and I think a lot of women can relate to her story. She went to acting school and began an acting career in her 20s, but then she got married, had children, and dropped out of the business. But once her children were grown, she came back to performing, this time focusing on stand-up comedy. Her unique and very successful strategy included creating a comedy festival for women comics called the Ladies' Room, which she'll tell us about.
I went to Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers University, and I was an acting major, very realistic major. And my parents paid for it, believe it or not, although they tortured me. Yeah, they actually kicked me out after the third year. Yes, and I don't care if Mason Gross watches this. They kicked me out after the third year. What they do is they make their cuts after every year.
Oh,
there were like
right.
30-something people in the class, and they cut a lot, maybe 12, and then they cut more after sophomore year, and then they cut 3 people after the junior year, which when I look back on that, we could have sued the shit out of them, Mason Gross School of the Arts. Anyway, it traumatized me.
Yeah.
And but I went on. I acted for many years, for about 10 years, and then I got married to a wonderful, nice Jewish boy, and we had 3 kids. And then I did a little bit of work in the city, still some off Broadway and off. Dressing Room Divas. I don't know if you remember that show. This was like 30 years ago. It was at the Duplex. Great show.
Oh, I love the Duplex.
I played Joan Collins, and it was it was a spoof. It was very, so everything was exaggerated.
Okay.
You know, it was
Sounds
really
like
fun. And then they also had a guy in the show that would run around in tighty whities, and he was a real hunk. He was definitely good looking. Anyway, so I had the kids, and then which my kids are great.
Yes.
And I recently became a grandma.
Oh,
a year and a half ago.
congratulations.
Yes. And then about 10 years ago, I was getting very itchy to perform more, and my kids were grown. My son was only 11, but he's the last one, so with the last one you kind of say, fuck it. Not that I did, no. So this was back in the 80s, and I used to perform at a club called Pips in Brooklyn. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have heard of it, yeah.
I don't even know if it's still open. But there was one night where I had to go up. Andrew Dice Clay just dropped in, and I had to go up after him. And that's when my act was really dirty back then. But I bombed, and I was like, shit.
God.
So that sucked.
So now you're acting and part of the time, and you're doing stand-up part of the time. Now, did you take a class to learn how to do stand-up, or was it just instinctive?
I actually did take a class. I forgot who taught it. It was years ago, but yes, I did take a class.
Okay.
But I had done it before, and I drew on, having done it before.
Okay.
And then,
You are also running this contest,
mhm.
which is, now this is really unusual and special that you took, I mean, I don't know anybody else who's done this, who's
Okay.
interested in stand-up.
Oh,
So
okay.
describe, I mean, I don't want to get the circumstances wrong, so describe it and
Yeah.
tell us how that all evolved.
Well, how it started was, I've actually had some real jobs over the years. For many years, I was a fundraiser
Mm-hmm.
at different nonprofits, and I put together a lot of special events, walks, Walk for Diabetes.
Okay.
I worked for the American Diabetes Association.
Uh-huh.
I worked for the March of Dimes, and other nonprofits. So I was used to putting together huge events.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a comedy festival 2 or 3 times, the World Series of
Oh,
Comedy.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
around for a long time. And after the 3rd time, I was like, you know what? I could put together a festival. Like, I wasn't afraid to because
Right.
I've done big events
You've done
before.
events before.
And I was like, I want to do something just for women. So that's when I started it, but it was right after COVID.
Uh-huh.
It was November of 21.
Mhm.
And people were still wearing masks
Mhm.
in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, so you've got this festival, it's all women.
all women.
And how do you find them? I mean, how do you
I
put out?
stalk them.
You stalk?
Ladies' rooms.
It's called the
spas.
Ladies' Room Festival.
The Ladies' Room Comedy Festival.
All women.
Yeah. So how I get the women, that sounds really wrong. But that sounds so wrong. But what I do is I put up different ads, mostly on Facebook. The
Okay.
different comedy sites.
Right.
Hudson Valley Comedy, New York Comedy, Women of Comedy in Los Angeles, like 40 different comedy sites
Okay.
on Facebook, and I start promoting it like in March,
Mm-hmm.
before it's gonna happen. And then I get all these submissions, and then I look through every one of them,
Uh-huh.
and then I give them a rating.
Uh-huh.
5 being the best, 4 is pretty good, 3 is okay,
Mhm.
2 is kind of hurts, and 1 is keep your fucking day job.
Okay. So you get women from all over the country, right?
Yes,
I mean,
and
women,
Canada.
Oh, that's
We've had a few from Canada.
that's terrific.
Yeah, a
that's-
lot of people from across the country. Yeah.
And you give prizes.
Yes, I give prizes, cash prizes, and then typically the first place winner gets a contract with Golden Artists
Mhm.
Entertainment, which is based in LA.
Oh, excellent.
And they were also the judges for a couple of years. But this past year, they couldn't do it because the festival was in December and the hotels were like $500 a night and
Oh my God.
But they still gave the prize, but they couldn't be
Oh,
here
okay.
in New York. Yeah.
But would they be representing comedians here in New York, even though they're based in LA?
Yeah, they would. Yeah. I'm actually a client of Golden Artists
Right.
because I won a comedy competition.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck you, Mason Gross.
Okay, so
That's how I screwed up. I never gave a blowjob to a casting director or a booker. Ladies, if you want to get ahead, fuck the Me Too movement. Just give blowjobs whenever you can. Of course, most casting directors are gay, so that wouldn't really help for
I
women.
mean, that's probably.
I take that back, America, actually. Not most casting directors, okay? All casting directors, okay? Take all this with a grain of salt, people.
Right. I mean, it's really hard to get too specific about, these sort of careers because they're so weird. Okay, so tell me more about, like, how do you find places to perform, and how would you suggest? Now, I know we were both talking about Slava,
Yes.
which is a
Terrible name,
isn't
too,
it?
right?
Nobody
Ugh.
knows what it means.
Yeah.
It must be a person's name, I
You
figure.
know, it sounds like bad ramen.
Bad Slava, yeah, bad. The bad part's
Yeah.
not so great. Okay, well, do you have anything else that you would like to say to this audience out here of possible
Yes, actually.
meeting?
Where's the bathroom? Because
Okay.
I've had to go this entire interview.
Oh, it's just right out the door, turn right.
Yeah, I was just pulling your leg.
Okay.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
has, and thank you so much. And
Thank you.
and also keep an eye out for Nancy's comedy festival.
The Ladies' Room Comedy Festival.
And how many times a year do you do it?
One time a year, we just had our 4th one.
And so I hope some of you out here will apply for
Yes.
next year's festival. So look
Yes.
up Nancy Levine online. Why don't you give them, what is your
Oh, sure.
email address?
Well, my Instagram is Nancy Levine Comedy, and my email is nlevine, LEVINEJ11 @gmail.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Alex.